Hi guys, welcome to our new video. One of our viewers asked us to do a video on Debian, so here's our view from the perspective of average computer users. Stay tuned. Debian GNU/Linux was established in 1993 and it is one of the oldest operating systems based on the Linux kernel. It's frequently called the grandfather of Linux, since literally hundreds of GNU/Linux distributions are based upon Debian, including some of the most popular ones such as Ubuntu, and then consequently further downstream distributions like Linux Mint, Elementary OS and so on. For the video, we have chosen to review Debian 10 Buster, which is the latest one as of the time of recording the video. This is the so-called stable version with the GNOME desktop environment, which is kind of a default one, although Debian offers a choice between several desktop environments. In Debian 10, a user gets more or less vanilla GNOME experience. It's an empty desktop with the top bar. In its right-hand corner, you'll find your system tray area, including sound volume control and shutdown and logout buttons. In the Linux world, Debian means ultimate stability, so Debian 10 comes with an older version of the GNOME desktop environment, which is GNOME 3.30.2 in this case. In the middle of the top panel, there is a calendar app, weather applet, and the notifications area. When you click the Activities button in the left-hand corner of the top panel, you activate both the application dock on the left and the workspaces on the right-hand side. Some apps are pinned to the Applications dock, and by clicking the grid at the bottom of the dock, all of your apps will show up on the screen. That's the way the minimalist GNOME 3 desktop environment works. Debian 10 comes with quite a few applications pre-installed. Additionally, you can trigger an app by searching for it in the search bar and then clicking on it or hitting the Enter key on your keyboard. Debian 10, as offered out of the box, would not certainly win beauty prizes among the GNU/Linux distributions. Its ultimate goal is to be stable, reliable, and get the job done. As you can see, there are no minimize or maximize buttons, so if you want to get out of your way of an app, you have to trigger the Workspaces view and move an app to a different virtual desktop. The system automatically creates another virtual desktop too. If you add even more apps into your equation, the GNOME desktop environment will add one more workspace, so you always have room to manipulate applications you work with. It applies the other way around. If you close an open application, the system will decrease the number of workspaces available. Just a reminder, the Workspaces view can also be triggered by pressing the super key. In Debian, users have tons of software at their disposal. The very first point for getting software is the GNOME Software app, where you can search for an application. And for those who don't like Ubuntu's Snap apps, the good news is that there are no Snap apps in Debian. All the apps in the GNOME Software out of the box are from the Debian repositories. To install an application, it takes just a single click. For the video, we installed Audacity, a popular free and open source audio editing app. In Debian 10 stable branch, it's version 2.2.2, quite an old one at the time of recording the video. But remember, Debian's goal is not the latest and greatest, but stability and reliability. If you want to add an app to favorites, just open the app grid, right-click the app and click the option to add it to favorites. Apps in the favorites dock can be reordered too. In Debian 10, you can install apps that are not in the Debian official repositories. As an example, let's take the Vivaldi browser. You'll find its installation file on their website. It has to be in .deb format. First, we'll save the file in our Downloads folder. Then we open the file with the GNOME software app. Click the Install button and that's it. While reviewing Linux distros, we've seen that some of them have issues with running app image format. Let's see what happens in Debian 10. As usual, our test application in app image format is only Office. We'll download the app in app image format. Now let's allow the file to be executed as a program in the Permissions tab. Finally, double-clicking the file starts the only Office app with no glitches. But that's not all. We need to check if the app will actually work, so we have to open a file. Our test file is open with no issues, which means that Debian 10 handles app image format appropriately. But still, if you need the latest versions of your favorite apps installed, Debian 10 got you covered. It actually supports the use of the Flatpak format. We'll show you the way to enable it by using the command line. It's nothing to be scared of. The instructions are on the Flatpak website. You just need to click the logo of your GNU/Linux distribution of choice and you'll get your procedure to set up Flatpak. Just copy these 3 lines of code, one at a time, into the terminal app. Follow the instructions on the screen and restart your system. The next step is to install some apps. For the video, we will install Kdenlive, a hugely popular free and open source video editor. Clicking the Install button on the FlatHub's website actually only downloads a small installation file, which then needs to be opened with the GNOME Software Center. Now, the next thing is to install it as you would with any other app in the Software Center. That's how we actually got the Flatpak support in Debian 10. We've got the latest version of Kdenlive and our Software Center is now more populated. To exchange our documents with other people, we need MS Font installed on our Linux system. Our traditional way of installing the MS Fonts package has been via Synaptic Package Manager. But Debian 10's default display server is Wayland, which doesn't support Synaptic Package Manager, so we have to install MS Fonts via terminal. It's not a big deal, you just need to type in a simple command: sudo apt install ttf-mscorfonts-installer in the command line. It basically tells the package manager, by acting as a super user, to install the necessary package. The package manager will do its job, and that's it. You have your MS Fonts installed. Now that we have the necessary fonts installed, we'll set up the LibreOffice writer to our liking. Fonts like Arial are, of course, now available. Speaking of LibreOffice, in Debian 10 it's from the old 6 series, but of course it's stable, well-tested and proven. New users might find it strange that the desktop in Debian 10 is not active. You can't put any icons there, for instance. That's the way it is in the GNOME desktop environment. You can, of course, change that, but in Debian 10 customizing the system according to your liking is not as easy as it is in some Debian derivatives, such as Ubuntu and its offshoots. Some basic things you can change in Debian 10 though. For instance, you can change the default desktop background and lock screen image. In the Tweaks app, you can change the default desktop theme to the dark one. After that, you still need to change some apps to their dark theme manually. But you can't change the desktop shell just like that. To do that, you need to enable GNOME shell extensions, and to fix the issue, shell user theme extension not enabled. But to do that, you really need to know exactly what you are doing, and this is something we do not recommend to novice users. So this is out of the scope of the video. Still, if you really want to change your default Debian setup, we will leave some useful links in the description below the video, where you can find instructions on how to customize your Debian build. If you will use Debian as it is, and you don't stumble upon any obstacles such as proprietary drivers or anything like that, as an average user, you will most probably enjoy using Debian. Otherwise, the use of the command line is inevitable if a problem appears, and then you really have to know what you are doing, even when following online tutorials and copying commands into the terminal. That's why we on this channel keep recommending Ubuntu and its derivatives for beginners, because at the end of the day, it is really Linux for human beings, as it was once called. Everything is set up for a user in advance, and it's rather easy to customize the system. For instance, while Debian insists on using free software and does not offer proprietary software by default, Ubuntu makes it very easy to automatically install additional drivers. We hope you've liked the video. What do you think? Is Debian 10 for novice users? Give us your reasons for and against beginners using Debian in the comment section down below. See you next time!